Hi there, I'm Lisa from Mythical Witchery. Welcome to my channel, and if you've been here before, welcome back. Today I'm having a look at my Halloween deck collection. As we're very quickly approaching spooky season, I thought it would be a really great time to have a look at some decks that are really suitable for this time of year. So we're going to start with the Seasons of the Witch. This is the Samhain edition by Lorraine Anderson and Juliet Diaz. And Giada Rose is the artist. It's a lovely box with this beautiful UV foil. This is a 44 card deck. This is published by Rockpool Publishing in 2020. I paid about £19 for this, and it retails for about $25 US. There are 44 cards in this deck. That's the inside of the box. That's the guidebook, and that's the bottom of the box. I love Jelly Bean. So this is the guidebook. It's a really good book. It's 176 pages long. Lots and lots of information here, full color. All the cards are listed in alphabetical order, so they're really easy to find. And it gives a number of spreads as well. So starting with a list of 3 card spreads, an interview spread, graveyard or transition spread, spiritual counsel or connecting with my guides, reclaiming my personal power, rotten apple, which is a protection spread, transformation spread for allowing change, weekly outlook spread, witch's tools, spread for wisdom, moon phase spread for manifestation, shadow spread, healer spread for embracing your path and reflection, and an anathema spread for cutting the cord. And then for each card, it gives keywords and an explanation as well, with reversed meanings if you read reversals. So it is a really, really good guidebook. I've marked it up in various places, like I do a lot of my guidebooks. So let's look at the cards themselves. So these are the backs. They're glossy, very high gloss. Like all of the Seasons of the Witch decks, these have foil gilded edges. They're all different colors. I love this one. Beautiful red color. And compared to a standard Rider-Waite-Smith, that's the size of the cards. So they're pretty typical Oracle card size. And these are a few of the cards. If you want to skip ahead, I have timestamps in the description so you can skip ahead to any of the other decks that we've got here. So they're really, really quite nice cards. This was the first deck that I got in the Seasons of the Witch collection. It might have been the first one that was published, either this one or the Yule one. I'm not sure. I think it was this one. I'm not going to do a full flip through here or show you every single one of the cards, but if you would like me to do a flip through and review of this, just put a comment down below and I'd be happy to do that. Okay, really quickly, have a look at how they shuffle. They are a stiffer card, but they shuffle beautifully. So there we go. That is the Seasons of the Witch Samhain edition. Moving on to the second oracle deck in my collection of spooky decks. This is the Halloween Oracle by Stacey DeMarco. This is published by Blue Angel in 2014. I paid about £18 for this. It retails for $25 US. This contains 36 cards. So it's sort of on the low end as far as oracle decks. For my preference, I like to see them up at least 40, 50 cards is better. So maybe eventually deck creators and publishers will start to pay attention and give us more cards because we like lots of cards. So this is the book. It's got this UV coating again. There are 73 pages. It's in black and white. Gives a little phrase to explain the card and then an explanation. There are a few spreads. The Jack-o'-lantern divination spread, which is 6 cards, and a 3-card draw. So let's look at the cards themselves. A size comparison with a standard Rider-Waite-Smith. So they're quite a good size card. They're fairly flexible as well. We'll have a look at the shuffle after. There's no edging on these. They're just plain. Those are the backs. It's a matte finish. I really like the finish on these cards. And I love these cards. They are really beautiful. Again, if you would like a full flip through, just let me know in the comments below. And I'd be happy to do that. This deck gets a lot of use at this time of year from me. It's a visually stunning deck. There'll be some people that don't like the borders, but this could be easily trimmed. Yeah. So have a quick look at the shuffle. These are fairly big cards, so you might struggle a bit to shuffle. You might have to just adjust how you do it. But they shuffle quite well. So there we go. That is the Halloween Oracle. Next on my list is the Black Cats Tarot. This is by Maria Curara, and this is published by Lo Scarabeo in Europe and Llewellyn in the US. This was made in 2013. I paid about £18 for this, and I believe it's available on Amazon.com for about $18 US, give or take. So it comes in a tuck box. Not my favorite, but it is what it is. Comes with a very standard little white book. And as all Lo Scarabeo decks, this comes in a number of languages. So there's just the very basic meanings of the cards. extra. These are the backs, and I really, really love the backs of these cards. I think they're really beautiful. Compared to a standard Rider-Waite-Smith, these are very slightly narrower and about the same height. So they're just a little bit smaller than a standard Rider-Waite-Smith. I have done a review of this deck before. You'll find that the cats in this deck have very human qualities, which you may or may not like. The only reason I'm including this in this collection is because, you know, black cats, Halloween. I thought it fit. And again, if you would like to see a more detailed look at this, you can have a look at that video. It's on my channel under This or That Collections. Take a quick look at the shuffle. They're slightly stiff card, but not a bad shuffle. So there we go. That is the Black Cats Tarot. Next up, we have the Jack-o'-lantern Tarot. And this is another Lo Scarabeo deck, published by Llewellyn in the US. This is by Giuliano Costa, published in 2021. I paid about £20 for this, and it sells for about $20 US on Amazon.com. It's a tuck box. Again, not my favorite, but is what it is. Comes with a very standard little white book. Slightly more detail than the Black Cat. And again, in multiple languages. So these are a glossy card. These are the backs. Nothing special about the edging. We'll take a look at a few of these cards. This is another deck that I did a comparison between this and a couple of other decks. You can find that on my channel in the This or That playlist. I do like this deck, but I have to admit I don't use it very often. This is not my favorite Halloween deck at all. But that's okay, because it's going to appeal to some people and maybe not so much to others. So comparing this to a standard Rider-Waite-Smith card, again, slightly narrower and slightly shorter. The shuffle, these are a bit of a thin card, but they're quite flexible. And the shuffle is excellent. So really easy to shuffle these cards. But there you go, Jack-o'-lantern Tarot. Next up, we've got a deck that isn't technically a Halloween deck, but I think that it fits this time of year really, really well. This is a deck that a lot of people absolutely adore, and I think you either love this deck or you hate it. That seems to be the general consensus out there. I'm not fond of this deck. The imagery is disturbing to me, but it's still, I do appreciate the artwork though, and I think it is really a great deck. I'm just not a huge fan of the artwork. This is the borderless edition. This is by Patrick Valenza, published by US Games in 2014. I paid about £23 for this, and I think you can get it for about 22 US dollars, give or take. Tuck box. Little white book, nothing too special here, but gives a decent little write-up on each card with upright and reverse meanings for everything. These are the backs of the cards. I would say this is a semi-gloss, not quite a matte. Comparing to a standard Rider-Waite Smith, I'm going to find that these are taller and slightly narrower. They're relatively thin card with great flexibility. If you would like me to do a full flip through of this deck, pop a comment down below. I'd be happy to do that. So this gives you an idea of what you're looking at here. I do definitely prefer the borderless edition, but there are a couple of other editions of this. It really depends on what you like. This is definitely not my favorite art style, but it is unique and visually stunning. So let's have a look at how this one shuffles. Gorgeous, gorgeous shuffle. Really nice. Beautiful. All right. So this is the Deviant Moon Borderless Edition. Next up, we have another deck that's not technically a Halloween deck, but I thought it fit this collection really well, and that is the Disney Villains Tarot deck. This is by Minerva Segal and Ellie Goldwine, and I'm so sorry if I mispronounced either of those. This is published by Titan Books. Came out in 2022. I paid about £20 for this, and I believe it retails for about 28 US dollars. It's got some of that nice spot UV. I really love that. That's the inside of the box. This is the book, and cards are nestled inside here. I love this purple and of course the ribbon. Anytime there's a ribbon, I'm really happy. So quickly looking at the guidebook. About 127 pages, and it is a full color guidebook. I started to go through and identify which Disney shows the cards were from. I thought it would help me to understand the cards better, because I don't actually recognize every single character in here. So if you're like me, you might want to go through and identify the cards and who they're representing in the Disney films. So that's the guidebook. These are the cards for size. Pretty close to standard Rider-Waite-Smith size, just slightly wider, ever so slightly. And maybe just a little tiny hair higher. There's no edging on these. These are the backs. Quite nice backs. It's a matte finish with borders. I quite like this deck. It doesn't get as much use from me as it should, but I do like it. It's basically a pip deck, but I mean, it is, but it isn't. So here's, for example, the 6 of coins, and I mean, this image doesn't really tell you anything. Neither do those. So although there are images, it's still technically a pip deck. So we'll have a look at the shuffle. These are slightly stiff. It's not the best shuffle that I have. Like I said, they are a little stiff. So I'm sure if they had more use, they would probably break in a little bit better and be a little easier to shuffle. So that is the Disney Villains Tarot deck. Next up, we have the Halloween Tarot by Kipling West. This is published by US Games. It came out 2002. I paid about £31 for this. Goes for about $29 US. This has the deck, which is in a tuck box. A slightly bigger guidebook. And then also a poster that you can fold out, which gives a Celtic cross. So you can put that on your wall if you like. So here's the guidebook. And Karen Lee authored the guidebook. There are 137 pages. This is in black and white, but gives a good write-up on all of the cards. And for spreads, there are 3 card spreads and the Celtic cross. So not a lot of spreads in here. That's okay. cards come in this tuck box. I've had to tape it because it started tearing almost right away. One reason why I'm not a fan of tuck boxes. Very standard little white book with just basic information. As far as size goes, compared to a standard Rider-Waite Smith, it is virtually the same size. Might be a millimeter difference. These are the card backs, fully reversible. It is a, I'd say that's a semi to a gloss, probably a semi-gloss. Nothing special about the edges, and it does have white borders. This is another deck that I have done a comparison on, and you'll find that in my this and that section on my channel in the playlists. So this is quite a fun deck. This is actually one of the first Halloween decks that I ever bought. And that's quite fun. I'd have to say it's probably one of my favorite Halloween decks. It is a lot of fun. Okay, so for the shuffle, slightly stiff, but not a bad shuffle. There we go. The Halloween Tarot. Next on my list, we have the Trick or Treat Tarot by Barbara Moore and Jonathan Hunt. This is published by Llewellyn. It came out in 2022. I paid about £32 for this. Retails for about $32 US. It's one of those big Llewellyn boxes with the magnetic flap. A lot of people don't like these big boxes. I don't mind them. I just stack them too high. So, yeah, I don't mind them at all. Here's the, that's the inside of the box there. Got a ribbon. Love a ribbon. This is a really, really good book. It's quite glossy. 205 pages. It's got a load of spreads at the back. Trick or Treat spread. Haunted House spread. Messages from the Other Side. Gathering the Harvest. 3 card spreads. A list of those. A horseshoe spread. So there are loads and loads and loads of spreads in here. Each page has the card full size, so you can really see all the details in there with a really pretty good little description with keywords and reverse meanings as well. This is, I think this is my very favorite Halloween deck right here. I love it. Absolutely love it. Let's have a look at these cards here. This is the inside of the box. And that is one of the cards from inside. Size comparison, Rider-Waite Smith. See there, again, almost the same width, just slightly wider and slightly shorter. These are the backs. Great backs. This is another deck that I have done a this or that comparison on. You can find that in my playlists. I love that there are no borders on this. This is such a fun deck. I absolutely love this. One of my very favorite, definitely my favorite Halloween deck, and probably in my top 10 favorite decks. Full stop. This is just a lot of fun. Okay, quick shuffle. Whoops, messed that up. I was going to say they shuffle beautifully and then I messed up the shuffle. Of course, I've given myself not too much room here. Very typical Llewellyn cardstock. I like Llewellyn cardstock. I find that it shuffles so nicely. Very flexible. A lot of people don't like it. A lot of people love it. Just personal opinion. So there we go. So that is the Trick or Treat Tarot. Next up, we have the Tarot of the Vampyres, and this is by Charles Harrington and Craig Mayer. I think it's Mayer. I'm not sure how that's pronounced. This is published by Llewellyn. This came out in 2023. I paid £30 for this. Retails for about $32 US. Typical magnetic flip box. And the book, it's got a nice book, 201 pages. Again, full-sized images with a good write-up on each card. Great book. I do like Llewellyn guidebooks a lot. Got the little black ribbon here to help lift that out. This is the inside. These are the backs of the cards, which I think are just absolutely gorgeous. Just gorgeous. And now, look at the cards themselves. If you would like to see a full flip through of this, let me know in the comments down below. I'd be happy to do that. Really beautiful, beautiful cards. Quite glossy and slippery. But yeah, I love them. Absolutely love them. This is going to be a fun deck to work with. I'll give this a quick shuffle. Typical Llewellyn cardstock. Nice shuffle. So that is the Tarot of the Vampyres. Next up is another vampire deck. And not to be confused, because this is the Tarot of Vampyres as opposed to Tarot of the Vampires. I'm going to actually probably do a this or that comparison of these two decks. But in this, the Vampyres is spelled with an I, and here it is spelled with a Y. They're both published by Llewellyn. This one is by Ian Daniels. It came out in 2017. I paid £30 for it, and it retails for about $32 US. Another magnetic flap. That's the inside. Isn't that beautiful? Guidebook. Big, chunky guidebook. Look at that. 301 pages. With so much information. It's crazy how much information there is on each card. This is a guidebook that you could learn a lot from. There's exercises to do. Card spreads. Yeah, fantastic book. Okay, got another ribbon. And that's the inside. These are the backs of the cards. Beautiful backs. Nothing special with the edging here. These have borders, and they're a glossy card. Again, I will be doing a comparison at some point of this and the other vampire deck. This or that. It'll be in my this or that playlist. Really, really gorgeous deck. I'm going to be doing participating in a deck study on this with Lisa Pepez next month, I believe. I'm quite excited about it. So shout out to Lisa. Okay, let's have a look at the shuffle. Great shuffle. Again, this is typical Llewellyn cardstock. Size comparison. A little shorter and about 1 millimeter wider. So very, very similar in size to a typical Rider-Waite-Smith deck. So that is Tarot of Vampyres. Okay, we've got just a couple more decks to go. This is the Macabre Tarot. This is published by Titan Books. Came out in 2022. I paid about £20 for this. I think you can get this for about $15 US. This is really quite cool. Shaped like a coffin. And you might find this annoying, but if you do, don't keep it open for long. It tickles me. This is another one that I've done a comparison. So this is in my this and that or this or that playlist. So we'll take these out and shut that so it doesn't get annoying. This is the guidebook. "90 pages, just a brief write-up of each card with an image of the card. And there are some spreads. Tombstone spread, Coffin spread, Explore the Shadow spread, and single card spreads. So it's a decent little guidebook. These are the cards. These have this gold gilded edges. These are the backs of the cards. Quite nice backs. And we'll have a look at the cards. So this is a 3-color deck. Got black, white, and gold. And that's it. So if you like a deck that has a very basic color palette, you're going to love this. If you prefer really colorful decks, then you won't. I like both. I love diversity. It's a pip deck. I think this is quite a fun deck, and it's really different, you know. So many decks look so similar, and then you get one that is just really truly unique, and this is one of those decks, and perfect for this time of year. So there we go. Let's have a look at the shuffle. Gorgeous gilding. It's a good shuffle. It's not the best, but it's pretty good. The cards are nice and flexible. Comparing really quickly to the standard Rider-Waite-Smith, you'll find that these are virtually the same size. Let's get them put away. And do it so you don't have to listen to that for too long. It's gimmicky, but it's fun. There we go. The Macabre Tarot. Definitely one of the most unique decks that I have, and not just because of the cards themselves, but also because of the case. I think that's so much fun. And moving on to the final deck in my Halloween collection, we have the Nightmare Before Christmas. This is by Minerva Siegel. Again, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. She did the Disney Villains deck as well. And Abigail Larson. This was published by Titan Books in 2022. I paid £20 for this. You can get it for about $15 US. It's got some spot UV coating here. There's the inside of the box. Here's the guidebook. Quite a pretty color, isn't it? 126 pages. There are spreads on the back. We'll have a look at that. So full color guidebook with upright and reversed meanings. And the spreads. So it's got a good little selection of spreads there. Got a ribbon. Love a ribbon. That's the inside of the box. These are the card backs. They're quite nice backs. Comparing to a standard Rider-Waite-Smith, it's just slightly wider and about the same height. Gotta be careful with this deck because there's a lot of counterfeits. So if it's in a tuck box, it's a counterfeit. And there are borders. I think if you want to trim those, you might struggle to do that. You could probably get them down a little bit, but I would hate to lose those. Those are really cute. So yeah, this is a fun deck, especially if you love the film. I'm going to admit I've not ever seen the film, but I'm going to have to put that on my list to watch. If you would like to see a full flip through of this, let me know in the comments, and I will do so. Okay, quick look at how this shuffles. They're a little stiff, but again, that's something that probably with use, it would become less so. Still a pretty decent shuffle, all in all. That is the Nightmare Before Christmas. So that's it. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like. That helps my channel to grow, and it can use all the help it can get. Thank you again for joining me. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell if you'd like to be notified. I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments. What do you think of these decks? Do you have a favorite? Do you have any of these in your collection? Are there any that you're thinking about getting that you don't have already? Anything you'd like to share? I'd sure love to hear it. I read and respond to every comment. Thank you again for joining me today, and until next time, may love and laughter light your days. Bye for now. Bye-bye.